You're listening to The J with your host, Kennedy.
Hey, what's up, everyone? You're listening to The J, the Tetsudo Mokei Podcast Edition, episode 30. How's everyone doing today? And I hope everyone's having a good weekend. So let's go ahead and check out what's going on with Tetsudo News, Tetsudo Mokei News. For those not familiar with this website, we talk about trains, model trains, especially a big focus on the model trains. In Japan, trains are almost as looked at as like idols. They're really well respected. The train lines, the tracks, the stations, and of course the trains itself. They're just, people love them, and they have great support. You have that all over the world. And people have their fans, of railway fans, but I think in Japan there's really a great love for them, as it's included in film, the anime series, and of course that's still prevalent today. Toy lines. That's something you really don't see in the United States. You probably see the Thomas the Train stuff, but in terms of trains that were released, may it be through trains from another country or trains, even their own country's trains, you don't really see those released at department stores or stuff like that. So there's just a different respect level when it comes to trains, and if anything, we like to I like to spotlight that on the podcast, and just to show the passion and the love for model trains and trains in general. So let's see what's happening in today's news. So we have, a model train in action at the Opama Comic Center. The Yokosuka Railway Model Club will hold a driving event on that's just today, April 8th and the 9th at the Opama Community Center North Building. So the association was established back in 1980, and they primarily work on HO scale, 180 ratio. And I think they hold public driving events twice a year, and members will display vehicles from 1 to 4:30 p.m. on the Saturday and 10 to 3 p.m. on the 9th, and it's free of charge. I think that's really cool for people to show their love for trains, and I like seeing that. One of the things, again, in Japan, I mean, you have that in the U.S. You have there are railway collectors who have events and actually have special areas, meeting areas. In a way, it kind of reminds me of back then, especially in the 90s and early 2000s, of anime clubs, where they would have these events at the mall or some location, a library, where people can come in and just enjoy a certain part of Japanese culture. And we know that there are some U.S. clubs and members who really try to show their passion for trains, especially model trains, and I think that's great. But in Japan, I think you'll start to see how often these model railway clubs really have these events, and a lot of old time fans, people who grew up. You'll see a lot of video and photos of people when we started from the late 70s to the early 80s, and now they're sharing the love with their kids or their grandkids, and I think that's all good. So let's go ahead and check out the next news. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about something fun here. That's happening in Japan. It's really cool too. So there was a Japanese TV drama that was hugely popular back in 2013, and it was well loved. It was called Ama-chan, and it starred Nonin Rina, who played the character of Amano Aki, a high school girl from Tokyo who moves to the Sanriku coast in the Tohoku region, and she wanted to become a female diver. So that was the main story. And then after that, after she becomes a local idol, she returns to Tokyo to become a real idol and uses that popularity to revitalize Tohoku after the earthquake tsunami disaster. And it was so popular and it was a rating success that it brought major economic benefits to the Tohoku region, and it was actually a social phenomenon. So Ama-chan debuted back on April 1st, 2013, and it finished September 28, 2013. So it was a pretty long series, about 156 episodes, but it's one of the NHK dramas that really was well loved. I just remember seeing it all the time. Well, here is this campaign of the Go Go Sanriku 555. Go Go Go. Anyway, the goal of this is to celebrate the 10-year anniversary of Ama-chan, but they want to do a crowdfunding to for the artists to create the artwork for the Sanriku trains, like a wrap. And if you go through the Twitter, you see the campaign of people really wanting this to happen because Ama-chan is well loved. I mean, it's hugely popular, and so next thing you know, they had the crowdfunding on Campfire, and here it is right here. They needed about 6.6 million yen, and they made 7.9 million with 514 people donating, and they did it within a month and a half or so, and that's just really wonderful. You could see the idea plans right here of the kind of artwork that they want to create based from the Ama-chan series, celebrating its 10-year anniversary. And this is such a big thing. Again, it was a cultural, social phenomenon that brought people to go to the area just 2 years after the disaster, and also had people who wanted to donate money, and also people who really wanted to contribute. So I think this is just a wonderful thing. They got the crowdfunding, and now the question is, let's see what happens. I don't know when the actual, let's see here. So they got the yen that they needed, and let's see here. I'm trying to look at. Okay, so we know it's celebrating 10th anniversary. Yes, we know that. And the train will feature illustrations by numerous illustrators. Okay. But the question is, now that they passed, when will it debut? So, I mean, there's a lot of pictures right here of the plan. And, of course, the Sanriku Railway always had this popular red, white, and blue artwork. But I think for it to change to celebrate the series, it's going to be very, very interesting. It's actually pretty cool. If they actually make a model train off this, I'm buying it. I'm definitely buying it. I actually love Sanriku wrapping trains, and I think it's just a wonderful thing that they're doing this, especially based on the series. Oh wow! There's actually a event was actually held for the Sanriku Railway for that Ama-chan wrapping. So that crowdfunding thing did become a reality. So look at this. This is really cool. You can see the actress Non attending the departure ceremony for a train with illustrations of characters from Ama-chan. Cool. At Kuji Station in Kuji City, Iwate Prefecture. This was held on April 8th, which is today, Saturday. So that's pretty cool. Third sector, Sanriku Railway, which was hit by the Great East Japanese earthquake. This one commemorates the 10th anniversary of the broadcast, Ama-chan. Again, series was a phenomenon. Really revitalized the city. And I think doing the 10th anniversary, since a lot of people are such a big fans of this drama series, hopefully it brings a lot of people to the area to ride this. It's only a one-car train, but still, I think that's really awesome. Non, the actress, said, "I realize that this is a drama that continues to be loved, and it really warms my heart. I'm excited to think that the train will run along the coast." That's pretty awesome. I dig that. Wow, actually the next news is quite big. Surugaya has acquired model train maker Katsumi as a subsidiary. That is something I did not expect to happen. Wow. So let's see here. So the A2 company, which operates the Surugaya, has acquired all shares of Katsumi Company on March 31st, 2023. A2 Company has been in business for 25 years. It's an internet shopping business, Surugaya JP, and they develop. They're like a media recycling business that handles new and used products, and they develop those physical stores nationwide. So, in 2021 they added the RC model maker Kyosho to their group company, and to expand their hobby of products, now they have acquired all the shares of Katsumi. This is a big shock because Katsumi is one of the well-known HO gauge train makers in Japan. It's been around since 1947, and they've been one of the classic companies that have exported products to the U.S. and have a pretty strong following. So it's going to be interesting to see how the new Katsumi will be. I'm not sure how much is going to change, but the company says that they're dedicated not only just to selling products, but to manufacturing high-quality products using the technological capabilities of Kyosho and Katsumi. So that is pretty big. Very big, very big news. Okay, so we have some news here from Sekisui Kinzoku Kabushiki Gaisha. Okay, so let me get some coffee first. I need to drink some coffee here. Okay, so Sekisui Kinzoku, I'll just say that, is the company that makes the Kato brand of model trains. So they just announced that they have a new packaging. So what we see here is the new packaging that they're gonna promote, called the MinaFit. It's a next generation cushioning pad, and this new simplification of packaging and reduction of packaging times and resources it reduces work time by 25%. So that's a plus. And here's I guess you could see the before and after. Traditionally, companies used a bubble wrap, which was cut with scissors and staples, were used to secure the models to the mount. These operations usually take 80 seconds to wrap one model, but by using the MinaFit, which combines the backing paper and film, scissors and staples are no longer necessary, and the time required to wrap each model is reduced by 20.5 seconds. You gotta love Japan for that. Look at this. Just the packaging procedures. So going to be interesting. So yeah, that's a plus right here. I'm just seeing the direction that they're going to. That's a major plus. So anything to reduce time and for better production, you gotta admire that. So thumbs up. So here we have a article regarding how the Nemophila flowers are in full bloom in front of the Oizumi station on the Sanghi Railway Hokusei line, and you can see the yellow cars with the blue flowers right there. So this article is just pretty much how the flowers are in full bloom. And on Saturday, April 8th, while there was light rain, many people came with their cameras to take pictures of the flowers and the yellow train of the Hokusei line coming by. You can see pictures right there of people right there. So it's all good. You know, it's interesting because I could see myself doing that. I've done it before. It's just something. It's just something that, again, it's part of the love of Japanese trains. Depending if you are a rail fan or what. For me, I just like doing serene things like this. I have a lot of videos when I travel and I visit even traditional, rural villages, and they've been very nice to me, very inviting. Where the Japanese locals would give me food to try their vegetables that they grew, and their tea. I've had it's just a lot of fun. I love Japan. That's one of the things for anyone who wants to travel there. It's just you really meet a lot of good people. And as for while Japan is an aging society, and of course when you go to a lot of these events, these train events, you'll see a lot of people who are older. And but it's just not that. You also see that also with the like Obon festivals and so forth. For me, it's great to see this liveliness, and I just hope to see it pass over to a younger generation who shows the ultimate respect and love for Densha or Tetsudo in general. So it's all good. Okay, let's see what we have here. Railway story in Fukushima photo exhibition. So collaboration with the Colas Fukushima in Fukushima City. A photo exhibition of the railway story in Fukushima by the Tram Remembrance Association will be held from the 20th of May at the Colase Fukushima City. Free admission. About 120 photographs of trams that used to run in Fukushima City and present-day Tate City will be exhibited from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. I think that's really awesome. That's really cool. And there will also be a picture book on sale for 2,200 yen. I think that's really awesome. And it will be available at the Iwase bookstore and the Nishizawa bookstore. So, yeah, there you go. The book, there's another book. It's here. Kaben and Chinchin Densha Monogatari, depicting the life of people in the state of the city at that time. Okay, so this article from Nihon Terebi News. Toyama's local lines, a solution for routes suffering from declining passengers. K&B Kishitani Desk and NTV Railway Department discuss railway reconsideration. I think this is something that, again, this is on YouTube Radio right here, this video, but I think this is something that's going to be prevalently discussed about the future of the local railroad system in Japan. And we talked about it many times on this podcast, but this certain one's about the Toyama Chiho Railway. And on the other hand, on the JR Johanna line and the Himi line, they are confronted with issues of deprecation, and new measures have been taken to discuss about revitalization. So I think that we're gonna see stuff like this happen for a lot of rural, a lot of smaller railway stations across Japan. So yeah, you could just hope for the best that a lot of these railway stations continue. We see some closures, and hopefully this one will stick. Many will stick around. They just needs to find some ways to bring people in. So, okay, so let's see what we have here. The reprint of the Hokuriku Railway Series 8000, the Keio Ino Kashira line color at a photo session, Series 3, and will also feature the Hibiya line color. The tour includes one-day free ticket. From Saturday, starting on April 29th, the Hokuriku Railway will operate the 8000 series train 8801, used on the Asanogawa line with a coloring of blue-green of the Keio Inokashira line era. This is to commemorate the company's 80th anniversary. The 8801 formation is a vehicle that took over the Keio 3000 series train in 1996, Heisei 8. So there will be 2 unveiling and photo session tours, the morning and afternoon. Capacity of 30 people each time. Participation fee is 1,100 yen per adult, 9,000 yen for children, one-day ticket. Got a morning course and the afternoon course. I think the good things here, you get a photo session and good sales. The second part, the afternoon, is you get to experience a test ride on a shunting vehicle on the premises, and take a photo with the Hibiya line color 03 series 34 formation, and goods will be sold. So that is cool. Okay, so let's see what we have here. We have the DMV, dual wielding trains and buses, 1 year of operation of the Asakaigan Railway DMV. So let's go ahead and check out this video here real quick.
鉄道とバスが一つになった次世代の乗り物 DMV が徳島県南部と高知県東部で運行を始めてから1年が経ちました。
We're just going to go through this quickly, but it's pretty much a year has passed since the so-called next generation vehicle, the DMV, which combines trains and buses, began operating in the southern Tokushima Prefecture and the eastern Kochi Prefecture. The number of passengers has doubled, and they hope this new vehicle will revitalize the region. Wow, check this out. That is an interesting vehicle. Oh, that is so cool. Car and train all at once. That is so freaking awesome.
世界初の鉄道とバスの二刀流です。
Train and bus.
乗り心地良かったですよ。はい。もう景色もしっかりしてもらったし。
My gosh, have they ever released this as a railway model? I'd definitely get one of those.
ちょっと利便性を高めるというようなところがちょっと面白いなと思いましたね。
DMV は平日サーフィンの名所として知られる海陽町の阿波海南文化村から道の駅宍喰温泉までのおよそ15キロを走行し、運賃は800円。土日祝日には
And the price is not that expensive.
まで運行。運賃は
200 to 800 yen, 200 to 2400 yen, depending on the route. But look at that. Wow, multiple colors too. I wonder how many vehicles total were made. It's funny because when I saw this article, they said DMV train. I'm like, are they talking about a special train being made in the U.S.? I said, is this like Japanese coverage of American news or something? I was like, no. It's called the DMV over there. Oh, look at that. So they have blue, red, and green, which is the usual standard colors for a lot of cars. Look at that. That's really nice.
の約2倍弱ぐらいの皆様が今乗ってくださってる。
一方 DMV はコストの面でも経営に大きく貢献するといいます。
Dual mode vehicle.
ディーゼ
So
ル車
that's the
両に比
DMV.
較するとですね、
Makes sense.
燃費はやはりこれかなり良くて、
Is that a Yuzu
2、3
that they
倍
had
以上
there?
走るっていうことになり
Lemon
ます
or
の
a
で、そういう意味では経
didn't
費
get to
の
see
軽
the
減にも
image so well,
車両
but
がコンパク
I
トな
like
ため
this. This is
従
really
来の
cool.
ディーゼル車両と比べ燃費が良く線路の保
You
守
have to
費用
love the
も
innovation
大
that
幅
went
に
to this.
抑え
That's
られる
really
見込み
awesome.
なのです
I wonder how
さら
long
に
it takes them
高
to
架を
go from
走っている
train
ので
to
津波など
to
の
road
災害時
vehicle
の交通機
to
能
get
を
off
維
the
持すること
tracks.
が可能だといいます
やはり地域の公共交通機関を守って DMV がですね、普通の生活の中に溶け込んで、皆様の足として使っていただけるっていうところ、それと新たなですね人の流れを
My
増やして、
goodness.
そして地域
I
の
might
経
have
済効
to
果を上げる
go to Tokushima Prefecture or
こうしたこと
Kochi
から
Prefecture to
DMV に
ride
ついて
this. This is
地方自治体からの問い合わせも多く
I
ロ
love
ーカル
that.
線の救世主という大きな可能性を秘めているのですしかし
Oh,
その
wow.
一方で
これ一回ちょっと見てみたいと思って。
DMV ですか。よくテレビで見るんで、興味は持ってたんですけど。
中には DMV に乗った後特に観光もしないですぐに地元に帰った乗客もいました
Looks very well maintained.
徳島県が行ったアンケート調査の結果利用者の6割以上が DMV の乗車を目的としていて観光目的は2割程度にとどまったのです
Oh.
そ
Interesting.
こで町が一念発起しました DMV の始発駅阿波海南文化村海陽町の歴史文化を学べる博物館や藍染めなどを体験できる
That's cool.
工芸館などがある
So you can get
総合教
access
育
to
施設です
these museums or these park areas riding the DMV.
DMV が、ここ阿波海南文化村をスタートとしてあることでやはり一番最初にここにお客様がたくさん訪れているということですので全体の中では 1.5 倍ぐらいお客様は増えているという状況です。
やはり DMV の関連グッズが人気でした
So for the most part, I
やっ
think
ぱり DMV の始発駅というのもありますの
this is
で
a really-
DMV に関連した商品
really
というのは
cool
人気があります。この辺はちょっとユニークなお土産が欲しい大人の方であったりだとか、お子様連れの方なんかにもこちらお買い求めいただくケースですね。
この DMV モナカは
What the heck?
DMV の車体やタイヤなどのパーツをかたどったモナカの皮にあんこを詰めて自分で組み立てることができるのです
Interesting. You can make your snack
そして実際
filled
の
with
DMV
uncle.
と同じようにバスモードから鉄道モードへの変更も可能ですこの DMV モナカを作っているのが創業100年を超える老舗のお菓子屋山田蓬莱堂です
世界初の乗り物がやっていくということを受けま
I
して
think if anything, this is a pretty
いや
long
間違いないか
footage
お土
right
産
here,
物が
but
必要だろうということで
but I think it's let's see if
まあ
it
いろいろ
goes to
考えて
let's
やった
forward
つ
a
も
little
りです
bit.
DMV モナカ
So I guess they're showing pretty much the economic impact that this having the DMV has had for travel to the region. So I think that's a major plus right there.
ですからやはりリピーターのお客様になるためには来たお客様を一生懸命おもてなしさせていただいて迎えさせていただければと思っております。
So any way to
年間2億
revitalize
円
the
の経済
region,
効果
I
を
think
見込
that's
まれて
really
いた
awesome. Good
DMV
thinking right there.
地元の観光団体は
Especially
DMV
since
の経済効
passengers
果を
have doubled
地域全
and
体に広げる必要
I can see it only as a major plus.
走る部分
そうで
で、
すね
オレンジの部分がバスと
Bus
して走るっていう
mode, train
です
mode,
ね。
and blue.
こ
So
れ
it's a
ね
short
だか
train
ら
mode
鉄道を
versus
残
the
しながらバスとしても
the
利用
bus
し
mode.
て、
But still, that's
活用
still
範囲を
pretty
広げよう
cool.
っていうことなんです
Okay,
ね。
let's go check out the
そう
next
面白い
news.
取り
Okay, so let's see here. Switzerland, what's happening here? Delivery delays and frequent problems returning to collaborations between railway companies. On March 3rd, 2023, Swiss Federal Railways, the SBB, and the French railroad manufacturer Alstom announced that Alstom will provide 8 trains as compensation due to repeated delivery delays of its long-distance double-decker train, the FV Dosto, the RABE 502. So an agreement was signed to pay SBB an amount equivalent to 6 trains. The compensation includes the extension of the contract period that had been signed between the two parties since the beginning, such as supply of spare parts, vehicle maintenance, and staff training, for which Alstom will take full responsibility for the next few years. It is clear that they agreed to pay. So I think that's pretty cool that Alstom has done that and providing these cars, and also to continue the contract. So it looks like there's good faith between both companies. So what happened is in May 2010, SBB ordered the FV Dosto from major manufacturer Bombardier, then Alstom. The contract was set to deliver 28-car trains for Intercity Express, 38-car trains for the Interregio, Interregional Express, and 9 additional 4-car trains, which was about 100 million yen at the time, which was the largest contract in SBB history at the time. However, the originally planned introduction of the new winter timetable in December 2013 was postponed, and in early 2014, Bombardier acknowledged that the production delivery of the FV Dosto would be significantly delayed. To compensate for this delivery delay, Bombardier agreed with SBB to provide 3 additional 8-car trains for the Intercity at no charge. And delivery was delayed even after that, and it finally started operating in 2018, 5 years at the original schedule. But the repeated delays in delivery were caused by the failure of the development of the new functions that were to be installed on the FV Dosto. So, if anything, I think that the new agreement for Alstom to pay SBB an amount equivalent to 6 trains is a positive. I mean, this has been going on for a long time, since 2010. So I think, if anything, it just shows good faith between both companies in just making up for it due to the delays. So yeah, it's all good. Okay, let's check out the top 10 selling trains from Yodobashi.com. Yodobashi, a lot of people know it as a big electronic store all throughout Japan, especially in Tokyo, especially in Akihabara, and what they're making in Ikebukuro probably coming soon, to the dismay of old-timers of the Cebu department store. That's another topic. We'll talk about it another time. But yeah, the number one train right now is actually an Engaged die-cast scale model, and it's really cheap at just 1240 yen. So it's really an expensive orange train of the popular theme park resort Huiten Bosch. So I think that's pretty cool. It kind of shows you that there's demand for these die-cast metal. They're actually released by a company called Train, Trane, and you can get these from Amazon fairly cheap. And as you can see through the top 10, they also have the number 2 is the Engage number 59 series 885 West White Seagull, another diecast model from Train. That's Trane. Second place. Third is the Popondetta MOK 022 Moku Train series, the 485 Raicho. Fourth place is the Popondetta MOK 024 Moku Train type, the Kiha 7071 Yufuin no Mori. So these are wooden. These are for trains built for wooden tracks. So that's pretty cool. And then you got another die-cast model, the N700 Advance. So we're seeing like a lot of die-cast models becoming quite popular for people to buy, especially for the price point. And then you got the Kazari Rail, the Toyko Sound and Light Nissan Ambulance. You got the Muraoka Shinkansen rail set type 923 Dr. Yellow. So My goodness. That's pretty cool. So, what is the number one selling play rail? However you want to say it. I'll keep on saying that. What is their number one selling thing in first place here? We got their so you got their depot, the depot rail set, the RO9 outer curve rail. One of the reasons why this is popular is because for the 330 yen, you can get these 4 tracks, and they're not. I think it's just the full track, so it saves money and having to buy just 2 of these to get 4 pieces. This is actually a very attractive price right there. Then the third place is the Thomas the Train wobble suspension bridge. That's about $46.60, and then you got the double track railroad crossing. That's cool, and you got the play rail scenery parts. This is really cool right here, and this is the one thing that bugs me about Amazon Japan is that I want these too, because you get the double tracks. They're so cheap, from 600 yen or even 500 yen on Amazon, but the problem is the shipping is just astronomical. I mean, you just put 2 of each, and somehow you're paying already close to $40 just for shipping. It's just insane. But then you got the slope curve rail. That's a good one right there. And then you have that number 9, the Ginga Dreamline. That's a really good one there, a set. So that's definitely worth getting. And then you got the building and station set right there. So, but yeah, that is the top 10 selling plow rail. I was looking to see here if they let's see with the vehicles. Let's check that out. So there you go. So for vehicles, we have the Ginga Dreamline C58. As mentioned earlier, Tomyc will be selling their set. To get both of those, you're going to be spending close to $300 USD. Almost close to 35,000 yen, because they're released separately. But here you get a full set for under 50-80, so just about around 40 bucks USD. The Thomas the Tank Engine 30th anniversary, the Kita Kita Thomas and Harold's Party Collection is the second best-selling train. The third one is the plow rail of the SO5 E7 series Shinkansen with the light, the high-powered light that they would say. The KF10, which is the single car. These are released. The KF series are pretty small, and they sell them for like $3. They're just like 500 yen cars. So that's why it's so high, as with this one, the Hiei. But so you have the Naruto Express, the S15, and taking 5th place. You have the Azon train, the Hiei, at number 6. You have the Osaka Loop Line, which is the S45, as number 7. You got the Takaratomi, the D51-200, which comes with a light, at number 8. The number 9 item is the Takaratomi Play Rail Boarding Confirmation. That's pretty cool. And then number 10, you got the Hayai set for the Hayabusa. So it's just really interesting how Takaratomi really puts almost the Hayabusa in almost every major, a lot of their sets. And I guess that's a plus right there. So number 11, Thomas the Tank. Was it Thomas the Tank or Thomas the Train? Anyway, the TSO2 is in 11th place right there. So this is Thomas the Tank, but I guess the series is called Thomas and Friends, right? So here you got the SO7, the Dr. Yellow T4 formation with a light. If you want the new T5, it's more of an expensive set. It comes with a red light and the inspection light and the character. The Thomas T16 Connor is number 13. The 14th place is the Shinkarion Z, the Alpha X. That is nice. At number 14. At number 15, you got the Thomas Percy Diesel Kana friend set. Then the 16th is the play rail, the round trip on the play rail. This is really cool because you get the tracks that make the train go back and forth. Here you get the sound version of the Ueno, the Ueno 231. So that's pretty cool. Number 18th, you get the Kintaro freight car set, which they brought back. A lot of people have been hoping for it to come back, and it did. And they offer it for a great price, especially for all those container cars you get at 38.70 yen. And then you get the special set right here with the new bargain set for the play rails, which I did order. Again, for this one, you definitely want to get it from your own country's Amazon, because Amazon JP just really, they jack up the price. I'm not sure if it's a deterrence for people to order the product from Japan for importing. Maybe they feel that if they have too many toy stores or companies or people just ordering too many, that they will lose stock for the children and families. So maybe that's why they jack up the price for shipping. Don't know about that, but I do know that if you get it from the US, let's say the US Amazon store, it's just $31 or $39 with tax. So it's a lot cheaper than, while it's cheaper on Amazon Japan, just by the shipping alone, then it becomes almost 3 times the cost. Or 2 times. No, 3 times actually, because they almost put like $65 of shipping. Number 20, you got the Kamachi and the Hayabusa set. And this one, they have the special gimmick of the magnetic connectors. So there you have it. Those are the Yodobashi rankings for the week. Okay, so for today's episode, we are going to talk about Takara Tomi's TomyTec line. So for those who are not familiar with Takara Tomy, they are one of Japan's largest toy companies. Before it used to be Tomy, but then they fused with another company, and now you have Takara Tomy. And they are known for the Tomica series, the TomyTec series of releases. You got the Plot-L, you got the Anya, which is more of the animal stuff. You got the Rika-chan, which is Japan's Barbie. You got Transformers, Duel Masters, Disney's, and Pokemon stuff that are under Takara Tomy. So it's a pretty big, popular, healthy toy company. And you can see here, it's just, they just have so many releases that you go to a toy store and a lot of it's going to be Takara Tomy. Now, when you go down here, you'll notice there's a Tomica, and a lot of you will probably hear about Tomica. But Tomica is more of the popular cars. I guess one can say an equivalent to would be from model cars to like Hot Wheels or so. And one of the benefits of these toys are that they're inexpensive. They, like collectors in America who are into Hot Wheels or Matchbox, they have their hardcore collectors who, how would I say this? You have your collectors in America, of course, who you probably may have not seen them, but if you go early in the morning or way at night when they're stocking the aisles, they're always what they call toy hunters, especially Hot Wheels and Mattel collectors. They are their first thing just to get, the hard to find releases. And it's no different from Japan. For Tomica fans, they are hardcore, and they tend to go for about, they're expensive at 550 yen So they have so many different versions, but the thing is that you can see right here, they come in a wide variety of sets. You got the premiums right here, which are more expensive, and you see your collectors who go for the premiums, and they're about 3,520 yen, so that's about almost like 28 bucks right there. So those are the hardcore collectors. And they also have the Tomica Premium Unlimited, which has the motorcycles, and then of course you got your Toys R Us originals, and more. So that's Tomica. But we are going to talk about the other group of toys, and this is TomyTec. Now, TomyTec is huge. You probably heard it for their releases of Tomix, which is the train collection. You got your diorama collection, which is the buildings, structures, so forth. And then you got the mini car, the TomyTec mini cars. And then it goes on from the combat series, the military series, the Borg, Oasis Studio, Faller, diorama collections, you name it. You'll see progressive grade and high grade releases from TomyTec. Now we know for trains, when you see TomyTec, when you get it, the difference with TomyTec trains and Tomix trains is TomyTec trains are considered mostly for display. They're like toys, but they're a little bit pricey. So you can switch the stock wheels to have a motor and an engine if you do want to make it like a regular N-gauge, with a motor. But most of the time they come with just a basic release. They have the special design pattern, highly collectible because they don't make the actual trains for them. They don't make the actual trains in terms of the Tomix type of stuff with the motors and the lights and everything like that. But they do have great detail. It's just that you're going to have to buy an engine or a motor, which is more like about $25 extra, and then you're just ending up spending a lot more money. But people do that because they like the TomyTec releases for trains. But when you start getting into train collecting, especially with dioramas, it's one thing to have the building and structures. It's one thing to have the trains and the railways, but then you also want to have cars in your diorama. As you can see, let's go back here, like this picture right here with a diorama collection. So we're going to go there real quick. So we know that the structures are a big part of it, and mentioned there's you got the trains that are you got the Tomix trains, and then you got the TomyTec trains, but then you have what people want to add to their dioramas are the actual buses and the actual trucks. You have buses, you have moving buses, which is controlled by a magnet, so they move according to the magnet coordinates. And then you have the trains, not the trains, but the trucks. So that's what we're going to focus on right now, is the buses and the trucks. So right here you can see the upcoming releases right here for the buses. And okay, so what we're looking now is the TomyTec bus collections. So TomyTec buses, they're pretty much released as singles or buses. And what makes us different from Tomica is that imagine the quality you get with your N-gauge train with all the detail. Well, they make that in 1/150 format, so they're small. Whereas Tomica, again, is more like the Hot Wheels and the Hot Wheels and Matchbox, but these ones are the miniature ones, and they are small, they're fairly detailed, and they really go out and trying to have a lot of detail similar to the buses in real life. Now, you have your collections, which come with usually 10 to 12 pieces, but how in Japan, again, you can get them in single or set variety, but we're going to go back here. Okay, so what we're going to look at right now are TomyTec releases, and we're specifically going to focus on the buses and the trucks. Now, the main difference, of course, with Tomica and Takara or TomyTec stuff is the size and also the amount of detail. The Tomica has its main collectors, which, again, the cars can go, new releases can go up about 500 yen or more, which is about, $3 or $4 in US. So it's similar to like the Hot Wheels and Matchbox, but for TomyTec, it's not like that at all. It's definitely not like that at all. If you want to get a bus, especially for a double release or a single release, you're gonna spend close to $25, and they're small. In fact, you can see here this one is 4,498 yen. Let's see here if we can go to this one. Here we go. And this is this is not for the people who just want to buy a vehicle just because they like it. Most of the people who go into TomyTec are hardcore collectors. The price point is just very expensive for people to just go out and buy many, like Hot Wheels, and usually it's mostly highly collectors that tend to buy these, who add them to their diorama. And when you see lower reviews, like 1 star or 2 stars or 3 stars, these are people who think they are getting, because they're so expensive, they're thinking that this bus is probably, almost a foot long. And then when they find out, it's super tiny. So how tiny is a TomyTec bus? Well, I have a picture right here. Let me get it for you. So I took this picture as a comparison right here. So this is a 10 yen coin and a 1 yen coin. So you could see just about 3 coins worth. I guess in the American US coin equivalent, you might compare it to a dime. So imagine 3 dimes or 4 dimes worth of coins, just spread them across, and you got your width of a TomyTec vehicle. But one thing with TomyTec vehicles that's very highly detailed. You'll see the paint and even the little details. Usually, what you see on the end gauge with the enter and exit signs, and also the handicap signs and so forth. They really do include that when you buy a TomyTec release. So right now, we are looking at a TomyTec truck. The trucks are somewhat like models. You have to put them together, and I do recommend at least using rubber cement or modeling cement or some type of adhesive or glue, because you have a lot of parts that can break off. They're not like Hot Wheels, which are die-cast metal. If you drop it, things will be fine. No, that's not the case with TomyTec stuff. Especially these trucks. You drop it, you probably break it forever. It's done. It's done with. That's one of the caveats. So let me go back here. Actually, let's see if we can go back. Here we go. So we're going to the bus collections again. So these are not made of die-cast metal. These are not like your Hot Wheels or like your Matchbox. again, you drop it, it'll probably break. They're plastic, but they're molded plastic with a lot of detail. Now, as a collector, when you start to purchase things for your diorama, you look for the Kato stuff, and the Kato stuff tends to be like, for instance, if you see the vehicles, let's bring up another page here, and I'm going to type Kato vehicles. Okay, so when you get a Kato vehicle, it's going to be like this. You're going to get a really tiny van, and I call this the Uber drivers, and the little truck, and a lot of 80s and 90s cars. Kato doesn't really make too much of them, but and you look at the price, these are probably as big as your fingernail. They're about 1945 yen. This is probably the drivers are also smaller than your fingernail, and they go about 1400. I do own this, and I do own the male version, the Japanese male, with red truck and with the red car drivers, red moped drivers. But yeah, that's one of the differences, is that with Kato releases, you see this thing right here. They have a lot of these type of vehicles, like the Toyota Autos Crown. This is more like a 60s or 70s vehicle, something that I would see in my dad's old photos. But and you have I saw a Nissan Skyline, a popular car in Japan. But yeah, they're really older vehicles that you see, and they go like 471 yen, and the wheels are like silver for some reason. So I tend to focus on TomyTec buses and vehicles to have in my diorama. They're pretty much expensive, no matter what you're gonna, no matter what. You really have to look on eBay or through Amazon Japan. If you look on eBay, most of the people are selling theirs used. And even with used, with the used price plus the shipping, it's almost the price of a new one. You're going to be paying $25 for a single small vehicle. And so the thing is that if you are just doing it for your diorama and you're not a collector, you just want to have Japanese vehicles, then the thing is, go through Amazon Japan. You'll find a better deal. If possible, you want to look for the bigger sets or collections, or just scour through these and just look for anything within 1,000, under 1,000 yen or under 2,000 yen. Here's one that I do have, the Miyazaki Hakobu bus. This one was only about $9 or $8, well, which is 11.55 yen. So I went ahead and got that. Again, you'll see a lot of these reviews, 1 star or something. You're like, why, do these suck or something? No, it's because most of those reviews are people are like, I bought this and I didn't know it's this small. What a rip-off. People just complaining because, again, they thought when they bought this car that it's going to be, a foot long. It's one of those things that when you buy something, you really need to look at the size. I think that people see these pictures and they automatically assume that it's going to be a foot long, and instead it ends up being like 2 to 3 inches long in width, and that makes a lot of people upset. So that's why you see a lot of these lower reviews. It's not more of the quality, it's more of the expectations that people thought they're going to get when they spend that much. Excuse me. So you see this right here, this TomyTec bus collection 3-piece. In your mind you're saying, okay, you're going to be paying like $75 or $80 for this three trains. They better be, good size. But no, again, like I showed you the width, these are vehicles that are going to be super small. It's just how it is. And when I was putting together, and I'm still working on my diorama, the first thing I had to ask myself is, how do I get Japanese vehicles at the best price possible without having to fork more than, hundreds of dollars just to get multiple vehicles? Because yes, I like, let's see here, let me go back to it. Yeah, you may like a certain vehicle that, hold on here, TomyTec Bus Quality. Here it goes. Yes, you may, want a bus, especially if it's in your region. But the problem is that, are you willing to spend, $30 for something that small? That's really up to you as a buyer. I am a Love Life fan, so I said, you know what, 843 yen for this. That's great. That's a great price, considering that these buses tend to go for, 34 over 3,000 yen each. So you just have to go through these. Like, for instance, this Love Live is 2418, so you're going to be paying close to $19.99. And you really have to go through these. So what is the best way to go about them in terms of collecting these? Well, I do recommend, if you're going to buy something, you want to buy these sets. So the Tokyo 100th anniversary set that was released. Let's see if there was another set recently. I don't see it here, but sometimes they release these special sets with like 10 or 12 buses or trucks. Now, when you start seeing things like with this little seal right here, the bus collection, let's go to that. So with these here it is. Here's a set right here. Okay, so this set is, if you bought it, it's going to be 14,365 yen. So it's going to cost you probably about $125 US. It sounds expensive, but when you think about the average cost per bus of it going by $20 each, 14,000 yen or $125 is not so bad. Especially, when you think about this, you're getting 12 buses, and even if you were saying $10 per bus, that's still, again, it's still a deal. Whether or not you like these buses or not, that's up to you. But if you're just doing it for your diorama, sometimes you just have to say, you know what, I want to have buses, and I'm just going to go for this set. And this is probably going to fulfill your needs. If you have a little freeway or freeway overpass like I do, it's probably more than enough. And the TomyTec trucks do it the same way. They release them in sets like this one right here. This one was actually a lot cheaper at about it's like under $100. This one I do have, which is the volume 11, which is 8,800 yen. So you're paying about $75, and you get about 3, 4, 5, about 10 of them. So now what happens if you just want to get a single? Well, here's the problem with that. In Japan, while you see people who do sell retail of the singles, they jack them up to like $100 per vehicle. And the reason being is that in Japan, when they release these, they're in these boxes, which you don't know what you're going to get. They could be anything inside, a random box. So all these collectors, they'll order a lot of sets, they'll get all these boxes, and these mystery sets, if you see them selling a specific one, expect to pay quite a bit. Like for this one, here's the set right here. This person, if you got the volume 2 or the volume 1, it's about $150 just for the whole entire set, and you don't know what's going to be inside. You might get 5 of the same vehicles or what. I tried to I really avoid that. Once I start seeing these first production or these first orders, these sets released, I go for them, because I know that I'm going to get each of these trucks, individually that's featured, instead of a mystery one which I don't know what's inside. Okay. So again, with the truck collections, they come in. They tend to come in these mystery boxes right here. The buses are not that bad. You can get them. You could buy them on single packages, which I've done before, but again, it's just if you're willing to spend that much money. They tend to sell out quickly, and because of that, resellers will typically jump up the cost, just the price of these, and it's a little sad when you think about it, but unfortunately that's the case with a lot of 150 scale type of vehicles, because they're not the usual size. You could buy a Tomica, or you could even buy a Hot Wheel version that's that is slightly bigger. I think it's 164, but some people just end up doing that because it's a much cheaper way to do it. But if you really want to get things exact, especially if you have people in your diorama, you're going to have to go for the 150, and that costs a bit more. And when you think about it, when you look at this, it's not that bad compared to HO or O gauge, where if you were going to do that, then you're going to end up spending a lot more money, because those collections can be quite pricey. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to talk about the quality. Bring up 2 versions of this. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, let's do that. We'll start with this bus first. So this one right here is the Komatsu bus. I got a Komatsu bus set. It was released. It was released for a dual pack for about. I got it for like 1,800 yen, which is like $15 for two buses. Again, that's where you have to look around Amazon Japan and just strike when they're low. So I figured this was way this was priced way down, and I could afford it. And once I did get it, once Amazon restocked them, they went up to 3,000 yen. So again, this is how things are with TomyTec releases, especially with the buses and the trucks. They are expensive. And I'm going to show you, look at this right here. This is a detail of one of the Komatsu buses right here. You could see the detail on the tires, especially the rims. And it's just everything about this vehicle is very nicely done. I'm going to bring up another one here. Okay, this is another Komatsu bus right here. One is for airport use and one is for suburban use, but you could see the differences there. That one's a little blurry, so let me bring up another photo here real quick. There you go. You could see the red rims, a lot of detail into that. It captures the actual the actual vehicle in real life with the red stripe on the bottom. Granted, the actual bus has the red going probably around here, so it's a little bit, the red band is usually a little bit slightly bigger, but I'm not going to fault them on that. The painting is really nicely done, because I'm going to show you this one. And let's say that for some people, they'll go for the Chinese. Let's see here. 150 truck. Let's see here. Usually I see it listed here, but wait. We're looking at set. I cannot see it. It's somewhere here. I'm pretty sure it's going to show up as I scroll through this this page here. Or actually, I know where to find it. Here it is. Okay. So this is the 150, and these are the cheaper releases from a Chinese company. And so what makes the difference between this and the TomyTec stuff? Well, the paints. Sometimes the paints are so uneven, and you can see the quality difference as well. See how things are printed and the way the molding is. So it's 1/150 scale. At least it has black tires, and you could get it pretty much for 6 vehicles for what? For about $10 or $9. But the question is if it matters to you if the quality is nice or not. Some people don't mind if it's like this. See, this is the difference of a mass-produced bus vehicle and for me it's just not appealing at all. I like to have that TomyTec quality. Let me bring this one up, and you could see the windshield wipers of a TomyTec one. You could see the lights, even the destination. That's what sets the difference of TomyTec versus other companies when it comes to 1/150 scale vehicles. The quality is very nice. So remember how I was saying that let's say that if you want a RunTech vehicle, even if you just wanted one, are you willing to pay almost $125 for a single small vehicle, or are you willing to just buy a set for only $75 or 8,800 yen, and you could just get it? That's included with the set. And for me, it was a no-brainer. I would rather spend $75 on 10 of these than pay $30 just for one. So it was a no-brainer for me. Granted, some of these other ones are just basic, but still. You do get the RunTech on this set. You get the Jot Petroleum, and even including a JRF freight. You get the Nippon Express, and you also got this Sakura Smile truck right here as well. So you definitely want to get the sets. And as mentioned, when you get these bottom rails, they do not just snap in place. I mean, you could have it there, it'll snap, but it's not meant to be permanent. You're going to have to glue them on there, because a lot of these are parts that are not fully completed. You're going to have to do some work in putting them together. But they are full detail, and they do look nice. So, okay, so I have to stand back a little bit. Wait, there we go. So you could see that detail right on the buses. It's hard to see, but the thing is that it does show great detail on these TomyTec buses. They do a really great job at making them. So And again, they are in gauge 150 scale, that is, so they'll work perfectly for your diorama, especially if you have a lot of people. But looking at the tires, the rims, everything just looks great. Even the paint, it's not messed up or messy. And the character placements and everything. And I mean, just look at the window and the overall detail that went into making this bus. So you can see why TomyTec stuff is a little bit more expensive than your standard Tomica. Okay, let me get another vehicle here. Oh, it popped out. So this is where I said with like the trucks. Oh, it fell. I have to go in there. Okay, here we go. So there's you want to pretty much glue those parts because you're going to lose them easily. I don't see if you can see those two little pop-in joints, but just has to go under there. But yeah, this is a standard truck that you often see in Japan for deliveries, but yeah, you really want to push that in there and put some little glue in there so it'll stay, modeling cement or something, so it'll stay there permanently. I know some sellers, when you buy on eBay, they'll put it in a little baggie with everything all broken up. So here's a Love Live bus. These are one of the more affordable buses to get, TomyTec buses to get on Amazon. But Love Live is a popular anime series, and they do a lot of wrapping buses in real life, in reality. Again, these are all based on real, actual buses throughout Japan. So let me see if I can get it focused, but you can see the quality there. And here's another Love Live bus. Excuse me. Trying to get that in focus there. There you go. And you can see that detail. Let's see if I can get another bus right here. I have them all in my freeway in the side here. Here's another TomyTec, the cement truck, Tokuyama. And you can see the little guards, rail guards. You'll have to pretty much glue those on there. So when you ever buy a TomyTec truck, you're going to have to consider gluing stuff, because the parts, it's not going to be a happy day if you lose those. They're kind of small, so. But the amount of detail just on these little vehicles are just incredible. Everything's plastic, so no metal. You can see that the rims are really well done. But that is a TomyTec cement Tokuyama cement vehicle. And let's see what other ones. Okay, well, there's one that we saw before. Let me get the other one here. You can see that one right there. And another Love Live. Really good detail went afar. And you can see even the printing on the windows, which is a really cool thing to see. But yeah, these are the TomyTec vehicles that I have, some of them that I have. So this is the TomyTec Truck Collection Volume 11. Here's the box right here. Inside are 10 vehicles. Again, these are already and here is the box opened. So let's open up the first vehicle. Bear with me here. There we go. We got a Nippon Express truck. Really good detail on that. A little small though, but it's hard to focus. But here's the guards that it comes with. Again, you want to glue these on, otherwise you're going to lose it. Go, and we have a standard green, no logo freight truck. Okay, next up. And we have it's kind of hard to see. I'm trying to focus. But it comes with the rail bars. See what's in these two right here. Okay, here we go. What do we have here? We have a Japan Rail Freight truck. You get the container right there. That's pretty cool. And the next one is a Runtech. It's one I've been wanting. So there is the Runtech vehicle right there. And then next to let's see here. Okay. We have another freight truck, Loginet, Japan. And the next one is another freight car, a JOT Petroleum. That's pretty cool. Look at the detail of the rims, really nice. I like JOT containers. And the last two. Let's see what we have here. And we got the basic white truck. And last, we have a Nippon Express, I think. My eyes, it's just a little bit too small. Let's see what this last one is. Those last two, but it's actually last three. And the final one. Opening the box. Come on. Here we go. And the last one. The one I think I said before that I like is a Sakura Smile truck. And that rounds off the sets. So that's it for the Truck Collection Volume 11. No secret cars, but everything is all there. All vehicles in the series. So for those who are wondering, if Tomic TomyTec releases longer size vehicles, and the answer is yes. They have their Tokyo Gas LNG trailer set right here. There's other ones here that include like delivery type of vehicles. Got the trains, you got all these variations right here. You got the Takara Tomy, the Tomica long type. This is Tomica, not Takara Tomy or TomyTec. But yeah. A lot of these other ones are Tomica, but you could see it all here though. So they're up to volume 13 of the truck collection. And I believe a new one's going to be released soon. So they also have a set that deals with construction vehicles as well. But there you have it. On the buses and truck collections, I think they're definitely worth it if you are planning to add it to your diorama. It's definitely well worth it. You need to have vehicles if you're going to have diorama. I mean, you could just pretty much go off just having your trains and stuff and your buildings and trees, but it really does help to have vehicles in there. And again, if you're just going to have a few, you could find them cheap. You could do what some people do and just get Tomica based vehicles. While the scale may be a little bit different as 1/64. Some people don't care. But I do. I want to have the 1/150 to match. Especially with the size of the people and the size of the trains. You want everything to kind of match. So here's another TomyTec bus collection with a Cebu bus right here. Man, look at the price of that. It's about $100 for the 5. So you're paying $20 per vehicle, pretty much. But there you have it. Again, people sell these individually, and they charge a lot for them. About 39.80 yen. Some charge close to double or triple that. So just keep that in mind. So many of you may be wondering, well, what about the moving buses? But I didn't really go into that because, one, you really can't find them anymore, and two, if you do find something, it's usually the tracks or the power systems for people whose systems died and they just need a replacement. Those are the things I tend to see. The moving buses, they're not as widely available. I mean, you could find them on eBay used, or some people have them new, but they're very expensive. And it's a really good novel idea. I really like it. It's just that it's just not being sold as it did back then. I mean, about 7 to even 10 years ago, I think back in like 2011 and up, we used to see videos on YouTube about it, but not so much anymore. I think I'm not sure why we don't see it as prevalent, but I know for this year and last year alone, with prices skyrocketing throughout Japan, just for energy and food and everything else, I think right now is just that certain things, we have to look at certain things, at what sells and what doesn't sell, and how much it costs to produce, and can they still make it affordable without having to jack up the price. I think if anything, TomyTec has been very good in that aspect. But I'll talk about it more. But I just wanted to just explain why I didn't really get into the moving buses all that much. And so the last thing we're going to talk about here in terms of the bus stops or buses or the trucks related things for diorama, there are various diorama supply stuff from TomyTec from their diorama collection. So Dayokore. And this one is it's fairly inexpensive. It was just like maybe close to 800 yen. So it's a bus stop, and probably one of the more inexpensive ones. And it comes with a little stopping road right there, 2 benches, and the little overhang right there. But the thing is that these things are not so sturdy. They tend to bend, and you need to put you definitely will need to put rubber cement or anything. But even then, it's not as durable. It's easy to bend because it's just not their best diorama supply thing. I mean, it works if you're never going to touch it, but you just got to be careful if you're working on your diorama, if you accidentally hit it, it's going to tip over. So just remember to glue it, and so everything keeps in place and nothing falls out. Let's see here. This is another one here, including the people with their bikes. This one is more of a subway entrance. So, okay, here's more, but you just got to be careful that you're getting the right size, because some of them might be bigger. Here's 2 right here, so let's go to that. So this one is another bus stop scene. This one's more like in the countryside. So if you have an old school bus or a Totoro, you can put it right there. Here's another one that you can attach and have a bus. And it looks like something that connects to more of a moving bus setup. But yeah, you got another one. And just again, these things can bend, so you just got to be careful that they don't fall off. They do have these glass or plastic see-through things on it, which is pretty cool. And another one here. So unfortunately, these things are hard. You never know when they're going to be available again on Amazon, and it's just part of the difficulty or the challenge. But yeah, I think that covers it for the buses and the trucks. I'm just going here looking at this, but there's quite a bit of variety that you can go for, and you just have to remember, it's just if you can get the set, it's cheaper that way. Instead of, if you're just going to buy 1 or 2, then you can just buy them individually. But if you think you're going to get more than one, just go and buy the set. You might find it a lot more convenient, so you don't spend $30 or $40 per bus like you see here. Again, resellers are going to jack up the price. If you do see it cheap, it's more than likely a Tomica, not a TomyTec. So you just need to make sure that you're getting the correct one. TomyTec again is 1/150 scale. The Tomica is 1/64. So just be careful for that. I do want to answer a question that someone sent about the play rail or plow rail. Whatever you want to say it's all good. But many people were wondering of my thoughts of the plow rail trains going forward, and because of the focus on the ES format. So let me begin with that, and then we'll get into the news and also today's topic. But first, I just want to say that in 2023, many of you know that, probably since 2022, Japan is going through some major pains economically. A lot of things have went up. The cost of materials have went up. Electricity has went up. The food at restaurants has gone up, and it's been a big topic in Japan of how things have become more expensive, and how a lot of companies have to cut down on costs. So, with that being said, I know that in the United States, this happened before. back in 2008 was probably one of the bigger changes when the global financial breakdown because of the banks. When that happened, that affected a lot of other industries. And I do know with the toy industry, we saw changes where toys, just like action figures used to be like $3.99 or $4.99. They were cheap. But then they said because of the price of oil, what toy companies ended up doing was shooting up the costs by, I think, just like $3 or $4. So then it became almost double the price, to almost like $10 or more like $9 a figure. And now with oil situations and inflation and everything, just a single toy to get it from in the US has just gone up considerably, almost 4 times what it was back in the early 2000s. Back then, it was easier for people to complete series. One of the most popular was Marvel Legends, and they were big, figures that were wonderfully sculpted and everything. And they were probably one of the best toy releases I've ever seen. And they were pretty much, it ended during that time. And I think it's just the cost to produce things have just gone up exponentially. So in Japan, what we're seeing is that the toys are also no different. I've seen Gunpla for the Gundam models start to go up in price. What was usually under $20 or so are now becoming more like $50 to $60. It's just the nature of things, of how things have changed. Longtime toy collectors will understand that this is how things are. This is how things have gone. This is just even back then in the 70s when things were just like $2 or $3. The prices didn't really skyrocket until until 2008 and so on. It seems like it's getting worse, right? But in Japan, I think what Takara Tomy did was probably well sound. We know that the plot rail is, or play rail, however you want to say it, is, always targeted for children and families, right? Parents who want to buy children, a good present, birthday present, or, just to buy their kids toys. For the amount of plastic that you get and the amount of features, back from 2000s to let's say 2017 or 2018, maybe even 2020, up to 2020, Takara Tomy was doing a lot of really cool stuff with their lines by adding lighting, by adding double speeds, by adding even app support, cameras. There was cool, innovative things, but didn't cost a lot of money. Things have changed now with what's going on in Japan, what's going on, not just in Japan, but all over the world. Just the costs have just gone up. And so I think right now they're in a cost-cutting plan of trying to find out, what is a way to continue to become profitable, but also to make it affordable for families without having to increase costs too much. And that's where the ES lines and the KF lines are really attractive. Back then, a lot of people loved their plow rail because they were fast. They came with double speeds, full of details, full of extra things. But what we're seeing now is a decrease I don't want to say a decrease of quality, because there's a lot of good quality stuff out there. It's just more of taking things to make it more affordable, cutting costs. And one way is through their ES series. So instead of making windows and making things double speed, everything is becoming more single speed. And back then you see the windows. In fact, let me bring it up here right now so you can see where I'm coming from. Okay, let's see. Okay, we got it right here. Let me bring it up on screen so you can see it. Okay, here we go. Okay, so going back to the plow rail stuff, what we're seeing now in the last few years is the focus on ES series. When they first started coming out, you could see the windows had holes and everything, and the detail was still there. It looked very nice, but they were single speed, affordable, and as you can see here, retail price is 2,000 yen. In truth, you can get these probably for 13 and 1,400 yen, and with the deals that Amazon especially has, it really brings it down to almost 1,200 to 1,100 yen. So you're getting it at like $7 or $8, which is great. But the thing is that while good for families, as you can see here from E3 to E4, you see the little windows and they have the holes in them. But then, what you're seeing now, and this is becoming more prevalent, is the use of stickers. Stickers that make it more economically sound. The trains are actually smaller than the previous releases. So like this Yamanote line, it's actually going to be smaller, and instead of the doors painted, you're going to have stickers that you're going to have to apply, including the front. That's how it is to cut costs. And again, it makes no difference to families, because what they're buying kids are trains that move, and now they're getting at a cheaper price. Granted, you're going to have to add stickers, so you're getting this big old block here with wheels, with some features, but you're going to have to add stickers into to them, such as even this one. You'll start to see when you get close up of how stickers are mostly prevalent, including this. It looks like, oh, it's see-through. Well, no, it's actually stickers. So this one, all stickers. So we're going to start, I think what we're going to see is a lot of cost-cutting measures of going for toys with single speed and more stickers, but yet being more affordable. For families, that's perfect because it's still cheap, and even probably cheaper than the S series. But for the collector who are used to seeing things with light, especially with the S series, and also with sets coming with some function, while the earlier ones that were released you could still find these for great cost, especially the ones with sound. Great price right now. But the thing is, the more you start to, the later you go into the series, you start to realize that, let's even go farther down here. You start to realize that there's really not much added. Yes, they do have some special connection. Sometimes they'll add a figure. Like this one with the Oda-Q Romance card, they'll add a figure, or they add lights. But the thing is, like this one has sound, but again, things have changed now. Even with sets, they're not, I think even with the Sayonara set for the E2, is it the E2 or E3? I believe it's just only magnetic connections, and people are like, why are they taking stuff, out than what people were used to before? And it's just cutting costs. Another one, and I think it was I'm not sure which site or YouTube channel, but they were comparing the Sweet train, which was a luxury train, and comparing it from the one that was released years ago to the one that was just released now. It looks the same, has the same figure, but when they start putting on the tracks, they notice that it's now single speed, slower. And I think that's what we're going to see now with a lot of releases. Again, it's not going to affect children and families that much because it's still the same, plow rail that people are used to. It's the same. It's the pricing is going to either be cheaper or it's just the thing is it's for most parents or for most adults, these things are targeted for children. But for those who are collectors, especially the adults there who have grown up with it, who are nostalgic about it, and who have loved the innovation that Takara Tomy put into the trains, that made it appeal to not just children but also the young at heart, the adults. I think we're going to start to see that probably start to decrease more and more. I can't say that for fact. I'm not an insider. I do not work for the company, but for the thing is that it's quite evident. If you have been a toy collector for a long time and have seen how things have changed, that's the nature of nature of economics and the nature of how the skyrocketing costs impact things such as toys. Of course, again, it goes beyond toys. It goes to what parents or adults have to pay for electricity, what they have to pay for gas, what they have to pay for, just normal things in the groceries, or even laundry detergent and things like that. There's going to be a cost involved, and that those costs are passed over to the consumer. With Takara Tomy, instead of increasing prices like many toy companies have done, they just cut costs by making things single speed and making the trains a little bit more I don't want to say less features, but just using stickers to compensate. It's probably a much easier way to cut costs in that manner, but and also making the trains smaller, so the molds are you could see YouTube videos. The trains are a little bit smaller than what they used to be. But again, parents, this is great for parents, and this is great for parents who want to get kids these trains and continue to they can get 2 or 3 and it won't break the bank. So I am going to do some reviews on these. I will look at them, but the thing is that is it upsetting? Not so much, because companies have to evolve, and they have to evolve to the current economic standards. And I would rather see something that is designed for kids to remain affordable versus doubling or tripling the price, which we have seen in the U.S. And what has been done with a lot of toy lines, which is a little bit unfortunate. I recently went to Target because I was actually there just to get some medicine, and I said, I'll go buy the toy line, because I heard that these a lot of American stores now are now carrying Gundam models. And I looked, I'm like, this is pretty cool to see, and the prices are almost like $24 or so. But then I start going to the other aisles and seeing the Lego and seeing even the action figures, and I said, oh my gosh, I can't imagine being a collector today, because back then you could get a whole line of a release. I just remembered when Star Wars or even G.I. Joe or even Transformers release, you could always know that you would always know that, okay, I can buy this whole line and just spend only $25 just for this whole set. Not today. Now you're going to be paying for like a 5-character set. You're going to be paying close to almost 50, it's just doubled or tripled depending on the series. But again, that's the nature of things. Things will continue to go up, but hopefully not too much. But I think with what we're seeing in Japan, I think things have been very good. in terms of what is needed to what their key demographic is. Plow Rail is mainly for children, and to give them their trains, and also to make it affordable for parents buying for their kids. I think it's working just right. I have no problem with it, and I granted, if you are a collector and those who grew up with it and have seen the innovation and notice that things are not as great as they were, almost a decade or even 5 years ago. I'm not sure. This is we'll see what happens, but just remember though that Plow Rail still releases a lot of special editions and even the luxury liners that are really pretty cool, and you still can get those cheap. I think right now is a good time to get to trains, because you can still get a lot of these re-releases for a great price. So don't think that, I'm getting into it and all that's going to be available is just, single speed, no light trains. No, you can still get into it, because a lot of the stuff that were released within the past 5 or 6 years are still available and at a great price, and should be no problem. Should be no problem for collectors right now, especially the adult collectors. Now, moving on to the Engage stuff, I don't think I don't think that I see too much of a stretch. I think that things are going to stay within the same price point. I think you're going to see resellers, once they go out of stock, sell certain trains up the yin yang and sell them at double or triple the price. That's always going to happen. But so far, again, I've seen Tomy's and Kato. They have been very good at making things still affordable. But with that being said, I have noticed a change where we are starting to see basic releases, instead of being the 2 or 3 train. I think we are going to see more of the 6 or 8 train, and it's going to be at a higher price point. So by discussing my thoughts about the Plow Rail, of them cutting costs, I don't think that can be applied. It should never be applied to the Engage or HO Gauge, because these are adult collectors who are very adamant when it comes to quality, especially when it comes to re-releases. People want to see that detail. They want to see the stuff that they are used to getting for the past decades or so. One of the good things is that we have seen improvements over the years with the motors, with the couplers used, and some added detail, especially to make it with the renewal trains, to make it more to modern standards of how it is in real life, and I think that's a plus. But I think what we're going to see going forward, especially in 2023 onwards, is we're going to start to see a more reversal of how sets used to be. In the past, it was really, they used to promote basic sets with usually 2, 3, or 4 train cars as the main set, and then the extension with the 3, 4, 5, or 6 train, or even 8 to some releases, as the focus. But I think now what we're going to see is the opposite, where we're going to see basic sets become more of the standard, and then the expansion sets as the more lower price. So let's look at this Tomy's 97934. This is the Liberty. set, which goes for $25,850. So this is almost $193 right here. That's a lot. And this is one I really wanted, but I'm just like, the price was really bugging me, because I tend not to want to spend 125 USD on a set if I don't have to. Granted, I know there's some special editions out there that are great, but I think for this one, people are probably going to buy both the basic and expansion, because of how you can connect it from the front ends together. But at the same time, it's just really, when I saw the 25,850, or even when it first came out and I was really wanting to get it, I said, whoa, this is way more than what I want to spend. I said, this is not something that I'm used to, especially for new releases. New releases, I really don't, for me, if it's really good, something I really want, I don't mind too much of the price point, as long as it remains consistent. But when it doesn't remain consistent and it's really far out, it starts to become a little of a bit of a hassle in terms of, in my perspective. So what we're seeing here is a $25,850 at almost $193 for 6 cars. This is a lot. But you go back to a newer release right here, which I recently got, which is a Tomy's 98817, which comes with 6 cars, and the Shinkansen N700S 8000 series Kamome, which is 15255, which is about 115 USD. See, that is affordable. It's a really nice looking train. Affordable, looks nice, and definitely I think that I find it really appealing, especially for the price point. But what we're seeing is a lot of trains now becoming much more expensive than they should be, and I think that's just more of a reaction to the economics of companies having to increase prices to cover costs. Materials are becoming much more expensive, and I think this is going to be a standard of what we're going to see from here on in. It's just the nature of things. Things like this one right here, you're looking at the Saikyo Kawagoe line set, and already priced at $24,761, and yeah, that's about, let's see here, so that's about $187. So I think what we're going to see is bigger sets, more trains, which a lot of people will be happy about, but you're going to be paying close to over 20,000 yen, which is close to $200. I think that's just going to be the standard of it, and for many collectors, I think if you're into Engage, again, if you're into this hobby, it's never going to be cheap. So I think the hardcore collectors, they will understand. It's just the nature of the economics and how things are right now in the world, especially in Japan with prices going up. It's something that you can expect to see, but there has been definitely changes from recent months, just to just a few, just even several months ago or even a year ago. It's interesting to see these changes, but you can expect to see these single item sales to still be cost effective. At this one, $65.22. This one actually is about $49.35, so this is still a good price. This one is 9064. This is another set. Not sure how many trains there are. Let's see here. You're getting 2. So I think that's still, again, anything under 10,000 yen is still pretty good. This is like $68.59. I think you're going to see a good cost savings when it comes to those type of 1 to 2 train vehicles. I think they're quite affordable. Here's another one, the E2 1000 series Tohoku Joetsu Shinkansen, 24,239. So this one is coming out on May 31st, but yeah, you're gonna be paying quite a bit. I don't think there's going to be any escape from that. You might be able to find it at your local, if you're in Japan, at Yodobashi or your local train store who has occasional sales. I think that's where you're going to probably see a good deal. But these sets going up, especially for resellers, they're just going to jack it up. I think as the more they become more expensive, I'm not sure if they're going to cut how many they produce, but I think they're really targeting the collector and the collector who has money with these sets. And there's a lot of them. A lot of people who are into, a lot of people in the Engage who will spend that much. But I think for those looking for the budget, staying with the single releases or the double releases are probably going to be much more attractive for the next coming years. I don't see anything going cheaper. They always say, well, the cost of oil or the cost to make things, the products, the actual things that go into making toys. They say that they increase the price because of that to reflect, how difficult it is or how challenging and more. They usually don't, because they know that people are willing to spend that much to begin with, and why not stay at it and make some extra money. So it's the economics of things, but as long as there are buyers, I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. But train collecting has never been a cheap hobby. Granted, if you go to Plarail, then it becomes a lot cheaper. Again, they're targeted for children, but there are some sets there that will definitely appeal to adults. So there's some really good stuff, really. So I think for anyone getting into Tetsudo Mokei in general, just know that that once you buy one train, it's never going to be enough. Wow, we are over 2 hours right now, but to end this episode, just a lot of stuff to discuss today. But to end this episode, I want to talk about this magazine, and it's really cool, and I just definitely want to give it a plug. It's the Tetsudo, the Legendary Railway Project's The Last Project, or The Last Run, they call it. So what are these magazines here? So I'm not sure how long ago, because there's no, 2021, February 9th. I know there was a TV series on this, but so how this came, I guess, started is that they had these TV series on trains, and next thing you know, I noticed that they were promoting it. I've been wanting to say, wait, BS Fuji does this train show. How awesome would it be if they released it online for us to watch, maybe YouTube, whatever. But I noticed that they have a DVD video of this of the releases, released by De Agostini. These magazines, they're not really a magazine, actually. It's more of a DVD. But it comes, the DVD's in this little cardboard slot inside this 6 or 7 page booklet. So they started off as the Legendary Railway Project, the first issue. And the first issue is really cheap at 500 yen. But anyway, how it began was that they wanted to do videos on trains that are no longer around. And they started releasing these videos, which are now available on DVD. And so the first one's cheap because the DVD focuses on the the first Shinkansen rail line, the Tokaido Shinkansen rail line, and it pretty much, you get about maybe a half hour or so of video, and then it goes into showing like 3 minutes videos of other trains that you can watch. So it starts out like that, but then every month since then, they have been releasing these other DVDs, which is the last run, the final run of these famous trains, these iconic trains. And there's so many out there already. They've this is right, if you see on the right, it's issue 31, and this one actually covers the Arakawa rail line of the Tokoden, the Aobi, the 720-22, and actually the other ones as well, including the red one and the green 7000s. But anyway, the last run DVDs are even longer. I think you got like an hour of footage. It's almost like a documentary, and some of it is well, I think there's some parts, because I remember the third one, well, this one right here, the second one right there, this, not the second one, but the 31st issue. You had the first part, which works out like a documentary, and then you have your chapter contents. The next part are the celebrations, like the parades that the rail car was involved in, and like the final goodbye sayonara project, and the stuff that was available for people who went on the last day. There was a lot of footage there, and I just said, wow, this is just freaking awesome. At 1,200 yen, that's affordable. That comes down to what, $9 or $8, but you're getting a DVD full of train footage. And I just want to give a plug, because you can get these online through Amazon Japan, and I definitely recommend them. They're DVD magazines. The magazine is probably it's short, it's thin, like six pages or so of color and black and white pages, but the main content is the DVD itself. And here's the thing, I recommend, if you're going to get this, you need I recommend watching it on your computer and using something like VLC player, because for those that don't remember, since it's been a while, and that a lot of people remember that back in the day, DVDs used to be region coded. They don't do that with Blu-ray anymore, but with DVDs, if you wanted to watch something from Japan, you really couldn't. You needed to play it on your computer or a DVD player that is all region. So computer DVDs tend to be all region. Well, PCs, if you have VLC, you can play it. Otherwise, if you have Apple, you just have to make sure that your Apple DVD player doesn't come up. You just have to use VLC to play it. But VLC is all region, and you can watch it that way. But yeah, that's the only unfortunate thing, that it's DVD, video, and that it's region coded. So just remember, Japanese regions will probably, if you live outside of Japan, will probably not work on your DVD or your Blu-ray player. You have to play it on a computer or a DVD connected to, I do two things. I have like a mini computer that I have a DVD player connected to it, so I can watch it via VLC or plug in a laptop towards my TV that way. And I also, I had a DVD all region player, but I haven't really watched DVDs in a long time. Everything's usually Blu-ray or I take that back. That's not true, because I said I would never buy DVD again, because I've been watching mostly digital streaming or Blu-ray or 4K HD. But I've been picking up those Shout Factory Sentai collection sets, which they've been releasing for a great price of every episode for like $30 or something like that. And that's just insane, because in Japan people usually have to pay a ton for that. Maybe the Ultraman stuff or the Sentai series. But anyway, I'm geeking out a little bit here. But yeah, it's the last run. Magazines are definitely worth checking out. So just know that. And there's just many episodes. So if you have a special train that that is no longer around, and maybe a Kiha or a certain Shinkansen or so, definitely check out the Amazon Japan. Look through the last run DVD sets. They're not expensive at all. They're quite affordable. So that's pretty much it. So everyone, if you listen to this episode completely, high five. So it went long. It didn't go long. Geez, I'm not sure if it's as long as the Play Rail episode or the Plow Rail episode, but nevertheless, it's all Tetsudo Mokei love. So you all take care, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.